Welcome everyone, hope you're all doing well. This is a creative design team project for Tracie Fox Creative. Tracie's social media will be linked down below, as will any digitals that are used in this project. Now, the Foxy creative design team includes a number of amazing talented creators whose channels will also be linked below, so go and check them out. Grab yourself a cuppa and I hope you enjoyed this video. So today I thought I would come on and show you what I am up to with the kits that I chose to use this month. So I'm using the Fragmentology journal pages and the corresponding ephemera as well. And I'm also using the Tickets Please kit. So I thought they went really nicely together. And when I saw the Tickets Please kit, it reminded me of a project that I've done previously using suspension file folders as the base. And I wanted to revisit that sort of style journal. So what I'm doing is using the suspension files to create a couple of pages for the start of the 3 signatures that I'm putting into this journal. So I'm going to use a book cover as the overall cover, and then, as I said, a couple of suspension file pages, and then I'll probably add some other pages in between as well. So I'm just cutting the kit up and using it to back these pages with, which are absolutely beautiful. So today I thought I would just add some bits and pieces to this covering page of the signature, which I love. So I'll just show you. A lot of the suspension file folders, I've just utilised the fold that was in the file and just cut them to create the pages. This one I've done some little fold up bits to make some pockets or flips with. A bit crooked there, but oh well, you get that. So just gorgeous. Love the style of the papers and the Tickets Please. Digital goes really nicely with the Fragmentology one as well. So what I've done is printed this page out a couple of times and cut some of these bits and pieces out which I'd like to layer. So I've got them here. So I thought I'd come on and do that with you. I've been working away at this, completely forgetting that I have to do a video somewhere along the lines to show you. So I thought I'd better get on and do it. So now all these bits are going to need inking. So I will do that. But yes, I've cut out this little square, which is a little envelope. I've cut out the little flap of the envelope to go there. I've cut out the little tickets and I've backed these just to make them a bit sturdier. I've got one of the labels that came from the ephemera, Fragmentology ephemera, as well as this little piece. I cut out this little special handling square. So yes, I did a lot of cutting. And then this little word that came from the ephemera as well, which says define. So that's what I've got so far to work with. So I've got my walnut stain here, which I'm using for this. So I'm just going to go around the edges of all of my pieces and ink them all up. So you don't need to see me do that. So I'll get it done quick and I will be back. Okay, now I've got a little scrap piece here. What I'd like to do is just back my little label. It'll make it a bit sturdier and it will also just look a bit better as well. Now, what I am debating is I probably want to hang this. I'm just debating whether I want to put my twine between these layers or whether I want to do a little hole to tie my twine. It might be sensible to put the twine between the layers, so I'll have to find a bit of twine now. Give that a bit of ink here and there just to make it look a little bit dirtier. So it's quite flat there where it's unravelled, so that should stick quite nicely in between. I'm just going to chop a bit of this off. Now, do we want the dark or do we want the lighter? I might go the dark. Now, is that big enough? Yes. So I'll put some glue down first too. I want to make sure that my little string's stuck nicely on there. So I'll stick it down a bit first. Okay, so now we'll chop that out, which I probably should have done a bit better at making that even up the top there, because that's going to be hard to cut now, but we will manage. Just hide the little white edges that are poking out from my crooked cutting. Now, what I will also do is use my little tiny attacher to just hold it in a bit more. Also, just for the aesthetic, because I'm using a bit of silver bits and pieces in this journal. I'll stick my little word on. I love that, so cute. I'll give this a little staple, just like that. And that's ready to put in where we want it, so I'll let that dry. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing around the edges of the page, but I'll do that after. We can still get on with our embellishing. So the first thing I want to do is, what is the first thing I want to do? Got to think about this so I don't stuff up. All right, first thing I want to do is put my little flap on, and I want to make this little tuck spot. So I will just stick it up the top here. Just trying to line it up with the lines of the underneath flaps so that it doesn't look out of place. And let that dry. So that's created that little tuck spot. And then we're going to stick a little label just up there. So we'll do that next. And now this whole thing is going to go on the page as a tuck spot as well behind. Hopefully. So I've done the sewing and I've just tied it off at the back. So the next thing I think I want to do is finish off what I'm going to do with my little taggy thing. Now I'm thinking I want to hang this actually from my tickets. Just like that. And I might attach it with my tiny attacher again just up the top here. So I'm just figuring how long I want it. I think that's pretty good. This sort of thing really annoys me. I wouldn't want it in my own personal journals, but I mean, it looks cool, but I just find tangles really annoying. That's just me though. They do look, I think I'll get used to them as I go. I haven't done much journaling and I used many journals at all, so I think I'll appreciate this sort of stuff more as I make and use them. So what I might do again is stick this down and then staple just to ensure that it does stay on there. So I just like the look of the frayed end, that's why I frayed that a bit. I think it looks cool. Just trying to debate how much of a sort of tail I want. I think that'll do. So just stick that there like that. And let that dry a little bit. Then we can put a little staple through it. And while that's drying, we can look into putting our little pocket down, I think. So with our little pocket, we will stick the 3 sides so that we can slip something in there. So that'll fit the tag nicely. Hopefully it will fit nicely the tag I want, because I haven't gusseted it or anything. If it doesn't fit the tag I make for it, then we will just back that and fit it in there, because that one looks really nice in there actually. All right, so let's put a staple in this now. That will do. So I think we'll stick them all this way down. Try not to get my little dangle in the way. Okay, so that's our little layering tuck spots done. So I was thinking about putting that there, but I actually kind of like it tucked in there. So maybe we can just back that. I have some old book page here, so I'll just stick it on the back of that. Nice little journaling spot now that we can tuck up under there, and I like the way the red looks with the red on that little label. I think next what we'll do is get on with, I like my little dangle, that's worked out nice. Okay, getting sidetracked. Now I have these bits and pieces to make a tag to put in there. As I said, I don't know if it's going to fit now. Kind of like that other tag better. We will have a think. Now these tags have come from the Ticket Please kit that I got to go with. So as you can see, they go with the fragmentology pieces, which are these, really, really nicely. So for your vintage style journals, they all go together really well. So I've got this label as well, so I'm thinking of using them. And then I've got this picture of this classy gentleman from a encyclopedia, I think. And then a word here, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use. So, as per usual, I will ink around all the pieces. Now, I'm thinking it probably won't fit in that pocket anyway, because I'm going to back some of the pieces onto my file folder. So we'll see, we might end up putting that one in the pocket, but we will make this tag today. So I've inked all the pieces. I will back this. Do I want some edging? Or do I not? I do like the look of it with some edging, so we might leave just a little border hanging around. This will fit there, so we'll stick that down next. And leave that little border. There as well. And then we'll back this other one as well. Okay, so now they're all backed, I'm going to have to cut them all out. Just get this little bit of glue or goop or whatever it is off. Tried to leave an even border, which I'm not the best at, so I'll do that with the rest of them. So what I might do is grab some thinner cloth. So I've got some layering scraps here, there might be some suitable in here. Yes, this looks good. That'll do. We'll just rip that down a bit. Okay, so before we layer them, we're going to have to do some backing. So I'll just grab some more book pages back. Might just back the whole lot of this. So I'll let those dry and I'll cut them out. So I've backed all of these tags, I cut them out and I've inked around them all. And I also backed this picture just to make it a little more sturdy. So now what I think I will do is just contemplating sewing around these tags. So I want to make a fabric hinge to put these tags together, which will be like that, hopefully. So what I might do is start by sewing around this tag. So let me just double check how I want this. Something like that, I think. That's going to have to go pretty flush, will probably work the best. So I'm just going to get a pencil. I just want to put a little mark there and there, just so I know where to glue my hinge. Because I'll tack this down before I sew it. is this? It's not quite that long, is it? So let me just tissue that off a bit because we don't quite need it that long. And we'll glue about here. Looks pretty good. So just let that dry before I take it to the sewing machine. I could stick it to the other tag and sew them both at once. So I'm just going to glue down like this and flip it over like that. Making sure that it's going to fold okay, so I'm leaving just a tiny little gap so that it's got room to fold. I'll be sewing around this tag as well, and that will just help make sure that this all holds together nicely. So I'll let that dry well before I run it through the sewing machine, and then I've just got to debate whether I want to sew around my man. Now I am thinking that I'll put some cloth under him as well. I'm not going to stick this down yet though, because we have to do our sewing first. Just to make it a bit easier for myself. I'm going to cut that a bit shorter. I'll stick my man to this while we're waiting for the glue to dry. Don't think I want it coming out the top and bottom too much. So we'll just have it coming out that side. So I might trim this side a bit more. So this is just like a handbag or something, I think. Now, not handbag, ham bag, Christmas ham. That sort of material that I tea dyed, which turned out really nicely. Okay, so I'm going to snip this, I think. I like the number on it, so it's hard to get the bits I want, but I will snip it there and up there. It's a bit big to put there. Do like that little bit up there, so I might just stick that on for starters. think down the bottom, you just have a look. I have some stamped pieces here that I've stamped out previously. I do have a brown one there. Let's just use that. Just trim it down. So I just stamped these, I think they're Tim Holtz stamps, onto some edges of book pages. Okay, now I've got to do our sewing. So as you can see, I've just straight stitched around this tag. A bit crooked, but it's all right. And I've straight stitched a little zigzag on that tag. So that's how it's turned out. And I also stitched around my man here with a bit of zigzag and straight stitch as well. So it's all ready to go, so I can stick him on now. Sticking that material down just a little bit so it doesn't fray too much. I'll just use my fabric glue for that. Okay, so now I'm thinking about how I am going to keep this closed. I've also got to consider what I'm going to do under here, if anything. It's a good spot to leave for whoever gets this journal to be able to stick something that they'd like to stick or some more writing area. And it'll just stop the tag being too bulky, so I might even leave that. Could have a little label or something. Well, the other bit was this, actually, we could do that. It says the Bookman. Yeah, I like that. It looks quite nice just the way it is. Just ink around it. Oh, perfect. All right, now I'm thinking of a closure for the tag as well, just so it doesn't fall open all the time. I did find some nice old string, which I think looks really nice with it. So we could just wrap it around. A couple of times and tie it, which looks really nice actually. The other thing is I could put an eyelet in, tie it to the eyelet, and then wrap it around, which is my other thought. So that's a little one. And I think we'll do it about there. Can I see? Don't want to get my stitching. That's close. But that's good. Now these eyelets just don't close the best, so I've been hitting them. Just to get any sharp bits down. Now I could do it, though it'd be hard to get it doubled up through there. But that might help with bulk. Let's have a look. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's see. Plenty there, haven't we? Could cut some of that off. And just tuck it down like that. And then you could put a topper on as well, which is something I could have sewn on when I was sewing around, and I always forget to do that. So that is another thought. So maybe we'll do that. I don't think I want a topper on both of them, but where is, got some of the leftover of this. That would look quite nice actually. So maybe we could just use a bit of this. Just sew that on. Now we have our other tag that we we're going to tuck in. We still could do that if we wanted to and just add a topper, but I don't think I will now. Could put it in like that too. I think I'll leave that as a separate tag elsewhere because I really like this the way it is. And it's still thin enough now to tuck into a different pocket. But one of the pockets in there anyway. Now, what I might do is just ink up, just tad around the edges of this. Tack it on. Just see how long it is. Put it together. Like that. So I'll let the glue dry and then I will sew it on. So I've sewed the tab on. Love the way that's turned out. So just a recap now, we did this page, which still could do with a bit more, we will see, and I am going to sew around the edge, but it's got the tuck spot in here, which I'll probably put this tag in. I'll back this tag first and probably stick a picture on the front, but I'll have to keep it quite flat, but otherwise it'll fit in there nicely. So we've got the tuck spot there, we've got the little tuck spot there. We've got our little dangle tag there, little label that says define. So I love the way that turned out. So I'm having an absolute ball with these kits this month. Lots of work to do still, but lots of fun. And then we've got this tag, so we can just undo that, turn them around, open it up and write on it and write on the back. So loads of fun. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Take care of yourselves. Happy crafting, and I will see you again soon. Bye.